Like everybody else in last period, Wren's eyes were glued to the front of the room. Mr. Pipkin, her second favorite teacher of her least favorite subject, was explaining the finer points of percentages. Although a few in her class looked as if they might actually be paying attention, most were staring at the clock on the wall above Mr. Pipkin's head instead, waiting for that magical moment when the final bell rang and they could break loose from the confines of Fort Gibson Middle School. Wren folded her arms and leaned forward on her desk. School was okay, she guessed. She didn't hate it, but it did seem like they wasted a lot of time on things she would never need. The periodic table? War of 1812? Seriously? When is that ever going to come up in conversation? And don't even get her started on math. There's a perfectly good calculator on her phone. 5 more minutes. She drummed her fingers. 5 minutes until the weekend. She glared at the second hand and could swear it went backward. Her stomach growled. Lunch felt like days ago, and she was starving. Elise, her grandmother, was picking her up after school. They were meeting with some of her friends and going for burgers at Gigglefish. Wren chided herself. Not her friends. She didn't have any. Not really. When it came to Wren, almost everybody at school fell into one of 3 categories. 1, scared of her cop dad. 2, freaked by the whole missing mom thing. Or 3, way too interested in both. Okay, if she was honest, it was possible that she was a little to blame for her friendless state. It's not exactly like she put herself out there. All that bonding with another human being stuff was way too much work, requiring way too much energy. Especially when some days, on bad days, it was hard enough to get out of bed. Besides, she liked spending time with Elise and her friends. Who wouldn't want to hang with a room full of strong, brown-skinned women eager to share Cherokee ways and always had a story to tell? If Wren was lucky, some of those stories would include memories of her mom. Glimpses of her mother's life that let Wren see her through others' eyes. Others she knew who loved and missed her mom too. Remember when? One would say. Or that time another might chime in. But what Wren loved to hear most was, "You remind me so much of your mother." Those were always accompanied by a warm, misty-eyed smile or a big hug. Sometimes the group would cook. Sometimes they'd bead. Sometimes it was cards or dominoes. But regardless of the chosen activity of the day, there was always laughter. And laughter really can make you feel better about almost anything. The sharp clang of the bell was followed by a collective sigh of relief that Mr. Pipkin seemed not to notice. He raised his voice to be heard over a room full of slamming textbooks, zipping backpacks, and chairs scraping across linoleum. "No homework, guys." He smiled as if giving himself a gift too. "Have a good weekend. See you Monday." Finally, she was free. As soon as she cleared the main double doors, she saw Elise in the parking lot, waving to get her attention. Wren chuckled, as if failing to notice Elise, standing outside an old, Elise would call it vintage, turquoise blue truck would ever be an option. She was a presence, as bright as the sun. Wren tossed her backpack onto the seat and hopped in. "Hey," she rubbed her hands together. "We still doing Gigglefish? I'd kill for a cheeseburger basket." Elise's eyebrows shot up. "Hey, is that any way to greet your grandmother?" Wren leaned over and pecked her on the cheek. "Sile," she said and gave her a sheepish smile. "Sorry, I don't know how to say cheeseburger in Cherokee yet." Elise laughed. Okay, Gigglefish it is. But first, we're stopping by the store. I've been thinking, you spend entirely too much time holed up in your room on that computer." She shot Wren a knowing glance. "Enough is enough. You may not want to hear it, Usti, but you need something else to focus on. And I have an idea."